Mr Murdoch, you'd be well across the argument of South Australian local government supplementary road funding.
Yes, Senator.
So just to get on the record, we are in South Australia 11%, 75,000 kilometres of the nation's local roads.
Yes, Senator, I think
You
that's...
agree with that? We are 7.2% of the population, roundabout, it's a matter of speaking. We get 5.5% of the identified local roads grant funding.
Yes, Senator.
2006, it was recommended by the Commonwealth Grants Commission that we should get 8.9% of the funds.
I don't recall the specifics of the numbers, but go on. Yes.
More. And supplementary road funding by the Howard government, the Gallacher government, the Rudd government has always brought it up closer to 8% or 7.9%. However, this financial year, lost revenue from the supplementary road funding is $18 million. That's correct?
Yes, it's of the 18.
18 per year.
Which will be 78 million over the forward estimates. Is that also a correct figure? These are figures that have been
That's
bandied.
right.
That's roughly
That's right. It's roughly right. Whatever indexation would otherwise take in place.
So the minister responsible for this is the member for Mayo, the Honourable Jamie Briggs.
The minister, he has responsibility for some elements of the infrastructure program. Local government matters remain with the Deputy Prime Minister.
Okay, and you'd probably be well aware that there are a number of councils, and this is probably right up the chair's area of interest, who are saying we will simply not be able to reseal roads, and we are cutting back on road services, grading, resealing. Are you aware of those comments?
I am aware of concerns by not just South Australian councils, but councils through all the jurisdictions in relation to the funding available. But yes, I'm particularly aware of South Australian councils' concerns.
And you're aware of the fact that people are making statements that people cannot easily get around to do their business, and it'll impact on productivity in relation to transportation of goods?
Certainly, any reduction in funding that was anticipated does have an impact on their investment programs, yes.
Is there any work that your department does about not maintaining your road network? If you do have this cut and it gets to the stage where a road needs resealing, it's not resealed for a number of years, do you have to rebuild it?
It varies. In some situations, governments have found it more efficient and economic to actually allow it to the paving to go back to gravel. In some situations, it's much more efficient and effective than maintaining a seal. But yes, it's not always clear that removing the seal will result in a deterioration of the base, but it can happen.
Are you aware that 61% of the fatalities in South Australia are on rural roads?
I wasn't aware of that figure.
And that is a historical figure, which is from 1994, that rural roads have a higher number of fatalities. And, you know, the argument about seatbelts, people not doing the right thing, but roads are a component in that. You are aware of those stats?
Yes.
So, given that the Local Government Association tell me they've exhausted discussions with Minister Briggs, then they now have a position they put to Minister Truss. Do you have any idea when this $18 million will be forthcoming?
Senator, the program was a terminating program that terminated on the 30th of June last year. Due to the budget circumstances, the government has not been able to fund that program. That position is the position. It remains so. I'm not aware of any proposals within the government to be able to restore that funding given the current fiscal circumstances.
$18 million on regional rural roads, which will degrade or go back to gravel, if you like, where you have a councillor like Elliston with, say, 1,200 people and 1,400 kilometres of roads to maintain.
The funds were not solely for rural and regional councils. They were funding all councils in South Australia, but the issue is in the current fiscal circumstances, the government was not able to make provision for that program to continue. It was a terminating program. It terminated on the 1st of July 2014, and in the current fiscal circumstances, I'm not aware of any proposal to be able to reinstate that program.
Thanks, Chair.
Roads to cover.
It is, sorry, just on that, Senator, I would add that the government has made additional provision for roads to recovery and black spots funding over the next 2 years, which is quite a substantial lift in expenditure, particularly in 15-16 for local government, including South Australian councils. So around your road safety issues, there is additional black spots roads to recovery money, even though the supplementary program for South Australia has not been continued.
So there's an additional 200 million for black spots and 350 nationally for roads to recovery.
But you would agree with the position that's put that South Australia is the only state that has been treated in this way on this funding of local road funding. It doesn't. This situation only exists in South Australia. The cuts to the supplementary roads.
The supplementary
only applies
to South Australia.
It's borne solely by the South Australian local government.
It reflected.
And yet we have the minister, assistant minister, from South Australia.
The supplementary payments reflected the way in which roads funding was split was done almost over 20 years ago in relation to state and local government splits in South Australia. But as I said, because of the fiscal circumstances, the government has not been able to continue the program.
Thank you.